Hello everyone, welcome to Hopeful Moments 1. Today, we're going to listen to a story that reflects the issues of attitude and responsibility in a teacher's work, the unfair treatment of students, and the students' resistance and malicious compliance in dealing with this unfair situation. Today's story will take you through an unexpected scenario. The situation escalates to the administration, where the teacher is investigated and disciplined for passing off her duties to students, suspended without pay, and demoted. This situation is surprising not only because of how the students reacted but also due to the sudden shift in the teacher's circumstances, as she faced punishment for her irresponsible attitude and behavior. If you find this story interesting and full of valuable lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful stories. The story begins in a challenging academic setting, where I was enrolled in a demanding engineering course. I had a math teacher during my second year who was truly unpleasant. She was the type of person who made anyone who had to deal with her feel stressed and uncomfortable. She would blow small issues out of proportion, and just a minor mistake would send her into a rage, creating a tense atmosphere. Especially, she always found ways to make life harder for students she didn't like. She was the type of person who would find excuses to criticize and never forgive anyone for a mistake, which made the classroom environment very heavy and unpleasant. Initially, we, the students, had gotten used to her behavior and chose to keep a low profile, avoiding drawing her attention to avoid facing her outbursts. Everything started to change when she was appointed as the first-year coordinator, a role similar to a department head but for the younger students. This was a major turning point, and from there, things seemed to go downhill. After taking on this new role, she began showing even more irresponsibility and carelessness. She constantly arrived late to class, a clear sign of disrespect towards both the subject and the students. The worst part was that whenever there was any misbehavior, she would just skip the lessons and leave without any reasonable explanation. This became a huge problem, especially since I realized that I didn't even know what I was missing, and math was already a challenging subject, requiring clear guidance and support. Her leaving without providing any instruction made me feel abandoned with the struggles of my studies. As the test approached, she assigned us some problems and reference materials. We were asked to solve them and submit them to her so she could review and correct any mistakes. This was a reasonable request, as we all needed her help to prepare for the test. However, her lack of responsibility continued when we completed the assignments and waited, but never received our books back. This truly worried and frustrated us because no one knew whether they had done things correctly, and we couldn't feel confident about our work. The day before the test, I decided to approach her and ask about my book, only to find out that she had completely forgotten. She began panicking and didn't know how to resolve it. When I suggested coming back later, she stopped me and said that because she was too busy with her new duties, she couldn't review our work. Strangely, she told me that because I was free, I should go through the work myself. She even called it just a revision for the test, as if it were something simple I could do on my own. This made me extremely annoyed. I wasn't free because I had another class to attend, but she wasn't willing to listen to my reasons. She rushed off without offering any opportunity for further discussion. With no other choice, I began correcting the assignments, and it took me an hour and 15 minutes just to finish one book. Then, she came back, sighed, and told me not to be lazy and to do it faster. She didn't thank me or acknowledge my effort, just urged me to work quicker. She left again, leaving me feeling frustrated and stressed, as I felt like I was doing her job without any recognition. At this point, I began to engage in malicious compliance. I started marking everything, wrong problems, incomplete problems, blank pages, I didn't care. After about 20 minutes, I had finished everyone's books and went to find her. Since this part of the campus was relatively small, I searched for her in places where she might be and I found her in the cafeteria, chatting with other professors, drinking coffee, and enjoying herself. She saw me and approached, saying she had just come from a meeting but was free now and asked if the work was done. She then told me to come back and wait for her, as she would be back in 2 minutes. The feeling of guilt for doing a half-hearted job or doing nothing at all disappeared, and I waited for her in her office. She came back after 10 minutes. She signed the corrected books and told me that it was my responsibility to deliver them to the students. No thanks, nothing, just more work. I reluctantly returned the books to everyone, and by now, I had lost around 3 to 4 hours and rushed to prepare for the test. At this point, I hadn't considered the consequences of what I had done because I just wanted to escape from doing her work for her. Later, when the results were shared, 73% of the students had failed the test. Her office was stormed by almost all the students, who insisted they had done exactly what was in the books she had corrected but still didn't get any marks. She saw me standing by the door and called me out, "You. The one in the blue shirt. Come here now." She didn't even know my name and used such a terrible way of identifying me. I was angry and slipped away because there were many students wearing a blue shirt. This made the situation even more chaotic as she blamed someone else instead of herself, leading to several shouting matches between her and the students. Finally, the administration got involved and began reviewing what she had done, and it turned out that she had delegated many of her duties to students, updating attendance, grades, who had come to her office for help or questions. They were furious, and she was demoted back to her previous position, suspended without pay for 6 weeks. She was angry and lashed out on social media, making baseless accusations. She deleted her posts when the administration notified her that if she faced another complaint, she would be demoted again. But unfortunately, due to it being mid-semester, they couldn't replace her, and she continued to teach my class. I intentionally wore a blue shirt every time I had class with her just to remind her of what I had done for her. This story not only reflects a situation in the academic environment but also serves as a lesson about irresponsibility and fairness in work. The teacher's behavior made everyone feel deceived and exploited, especially since she didn't recognize the difficulties the students had to endure to complete the tasks on her behalf. Although the administration intervened and handled the matter in time, the consequences of her irresponsible actions were clear. It not only affected academic results but also eroded the respect and trust students had for their teacher. The lesson from this story is that in any job, whether in education or any other field, fairness, responsibility, and mutual respect are crucial elements for building an effective working and learning environment. Carrying out your work seriously and fairly not only helps achieve good results but also maintains respect and trust from others. At the same time, the story also reminds us that avoiding responsibility and lacking understanding can lead to serious consequences that cannot be fixed immediately. Although your actions in this story may have temporarily relieved you of the discomfort and responsibility the teacher imposed on you, you should also consider the long-term consequences of not doing things the right way. While you acted in a way that made the teacher realize her irresponsibility, you may have also strained your relationship with your classmates. Consider that the satisfaction you feel from seeing her being disciplined might not bring lasting joy if you face difficulty and a loss of trust from those around you.